Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 29. A wicked man puts on a bold face, but the upright gives thought to his ways. I remember reading a poem when I was young. Maybe I've mentioned this before, but there was a crooked man who walked a crooked mile. And I think he says he had a crooked dog, and he lived on a crooked road, and he had a crooked house. Well, our verse today talks not necessarily about a crooked man, but a wicked man, who may be in fact crooked. But this man is a frequent subject in the book of Proverbs. And in this verse, we see one of the characteristics of this person. But Psalm 10, 3-11 gives us a very graphic description of what this man is like, or this person is like. He says, the wicked boasts of the desires of his soul, and the one greedy for gain curses and renounces the Lord. In the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. All his thoughts are, there is no God. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for his foes, he puffs at them. He says in his heart, I shall not be moved. Throughout all generations, I shall not meet adversity. His mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue are mischief and iniquity. He sits in ambush in the villages, and hiding places he murders the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the helpless. He lurks in ambush like a lion in his thicket. He lurks that he may seize the poor. He seizes the poor when he draws them into his net. The helpless are crushed. They sink down and fall by his might. He says in his heart, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He will never see it. 4 character traits of the fool are found, or the wicked man are found in this passage. We see that he's foul-mouthed. His mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue are mischief and iniquity. Haven't you seen this even in our culture today, in Hollywood and the films that are being produced? It seems like as soon as you take off any restrictions, it's just like the sewer that comes out of the mouth of in some of these movies, you just foul, vulgar language pouring out of like a sewer. You can't listen to it. You can't watch it because it's just every sentence seems to be peppered with just foul language. They're greedy. How does a wicked person plan to advance himself, gain more money? Is it to work harder? No. He lurks that he may seize the poor. He steals from the poor, if you can imagine. How wicked is that? He's violent. He lurks in ambush like a lion in a thicket, it says. The wicked person is volatile. They're unpredictable, frightening, and destructive. If you ever watched a lion on TV stalking its prey, it's just huddled, sitting there in the grass. And then all of a sudden, like a bolt of lightning, it springs unexpectedly to destroy its prey. It's frightening, and it's destructive. Foul-mouthed, greedy, and violent describe the wicked, but there's one other one, and our verse talks about that in 21:29. A wicked man puts on a bold face. He's proud. The wicked boasts of the desires of his soul. He says in his heart, I shall not be moved. The wicked make a virtue out of whatever they do, whatever they feel, whatever they want is good because they want it. And we see that everywhere in our culture today is becoming just a mantra almost. If I want it, it must be good. If I feel it, it must be right. But this approach to life is wicked because it's putting yourself in the place of God. The wicked person says he is completely secure. Throughout all generations, I shall not meet adversity. The wicked are always saying there's nothing to worry about. The wicked have few, if any, friends, real friends. They heap up enemies because of their pride, their greed, their violence, and their foul mouth. It is a selfish, greedy, violent life, and such a life produces fear, torment, if they were honest. And most of them won't be. And maybe some of their hearts are so hard they don't even sense that anymore. Because such a life accumulates enemies. They may call themselves friends, but the world the wicked travels in is not a world where trust and loyalty and friendship is highly esteemed. It's rather ironic that on one hand, the wicked is saying, I shall not meet adversity. There's nothing to worry about. But on the other hand, Proverbs says the wicked flee when no one is pursuing. The lifestyle of the wicked is a life of paranoia. They're always looking over their shoulders. And if the wicked honestly gave thought to his ways, he would be paranoid, because he knows he's surrounded by people just like himself, people who use people who are greedy and violent and feign friendship to get things from you, to use you, just like you would use them, who would throw you under the bus in a heartbeat to protect themselves or make a few extra dollars just like you would do to them, or the wicked would do to them. The wicked bully their way through life, putting on a bold face or a proud face. They do unto others before others do unto them. Their pride, their greed, their violence, and their foul mouth become a shield against any who would dare oppose them. I mean, any of that sound familiar? Is the Bible relevant or not? It's like it was written yesterday, isn't it? The Bible is sufficient. It doesn't change because people don't change. What was true of Adam and Eve is as true today as it was back then in the Garden of Eden. The Bible is relevant. The Bible is true. God knows people, and he knows you, and he knows me. But notice what the last part of that verse says. The upright gives thought to his ways. The upright, or the righteous, the believer, thinks about how he lives. He thinks about how his actions and his attitudes are going to affect other people. The life of the believer is a life that thinks, that reasons, that meditates. It thinks about how his words may impact those around him. It thinks about what living for the glory of God and the good of others means, and how we can do that with God's strength and God's power living through us. He seeks to live a life with purpose and on purpose. He seeks to live a life that is filled with the Spirit and controlled by the Spirit of God and the power of God. And when it is that such fruits as these become evident in the life, the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. But contrast that with the works of the flesh, or the works of the wicked, in the verses preceding that in Galatians 5:19 to 20. Now the works of the flesh or the wicked are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. And I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. Is there any more stark contrast between two ways of life than between the Spirit-filled life and the flesh-filled life? The spirit of truth and the spirit of humility and righteousness compared with the works of the flesh or the works of the wicked. The wicked don't think. They just think they don't think, they just bully their way through life. But the righteous or upright give thought to their ways. Is it any wonder, Proverbs says, when the righteous increase, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, people groan. And we could say a lot about that, but I won't. Other than to say this: there's a lot of groaning going on in our culture today. I think we would all agree with that statement. So we need to pray for our leaders, pray for our nation. So remember, a wicked man puts on a bold face, but the upright gives thought to his ways. May this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live our lives for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.